All right, guys, Blind here with Morgan to talk about the 102 that Morgan's got here. Morgan's still having some camera issues, and so that's okay because the highlights are on for the most part of this anyway. But Morgan, how are you? How are you feeling about 102? All that good stuff.
I'm feeling good. I feel like trading away Nico Collins for this pick is it's going to help me move forward as a team. So, really excited to make the pick here.
Yeah. All right, let's do the thing. By the way, Morgan's camera does work. Look at that guy right there. We just really wanted to annoy Rick because there's nothing that Morgan and I love more than to piss off Rick. So let's do that. I've got to push my draft button. There's so much I want to talk about with you. I want to talk about how the draft was in person. I want to talk about your pick, and then we have a special announcement. So a lot going on. So let me we'll push the button, and then we'll talk about the pick and go from there. So. With the second pick in the 2025, should I say all the things every time? I feel like it's kind of a waste of time. Omarion Hampton is 102 going to the Webster Tigers to continue to build out a roster that you have. I mean, you were very much a there is no rebuilding. I'm here to win every single year, and this feels like it could be your year. You made some moves in the offseason with the Trevor Lawrence trade. Obviously, we've got Jaden Daniels in the roster. You made the Nico for 102 trade. So there's a lot of stuff happening with your team. How are you feeling overall? Do you think this is the year that you make playoffs?
I think I can make playoffs. I think it's going to be a battle between me, Cam, and Chase, but I think there's a good chance, at least two of us make it, if not all three of us. I know Rick, is seemingly shooting for the 101 again, just to get three 101s in a row to set himself up to hopefully have a big year after that. But I think this is the year where I can be competitive. I'm happy with my receiving core. I'm happy with my tight ends. I'm happy with quarterbacks, and I'm hoping that a guy like Hampton is able to solidify a running back room that is full of a lot of guys where you shrug your shoulders and go, they could be good.
Yeah, yeah, just enough that you have like there's no Saquon in that room, right? But I think Hampton is going to do really well. I mean, he's unfortunately maybe in a timeshare with Najee, but for some reason, or not for some reason, I feel like it's only a matter of time until that 50-50 split really starts to shift towards, Hampton. Did that factor into you picking this at all, knowing that he's in a timeshare? Or we all kind of knew GNT was a 101, or did that not even kind of cross your mind as you got to make the selection here?
I was actually hoping that Rick was going to go with Cam Ward 101, just because I look at his quarterback room and I see a lot of yikes.
Yep.
And I'm thinking if he wants to push for playoffs next year, he's really going to have to make some moves there to solidify that. But he's a year away, so you never know what Anthony Richardson does and Caleb Williams does, except for being a bust in Williams' part. The But I'm fine with Amari Hampton. Having watched exactly 5 plays of him prior to this, I made my decision based on the
5 plays.
Cheesehead TV draft guide.
Okay. Yeah.
And the fact that he was drafted to the Chargers, and the Chargers are gonna run the fuck out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't look at their draft to see if they really got a couple more wide receivers or not. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yep. Yep.
But the fact that they're gonna run the piss out of it, and I think a guy who's explosive is the one that's gonna fit there. I think they got Najee Harris because he's reliable, but I don't think they're looking at Najee Harris thinking, man, this guy's going to be a home run threat, and we're going to be able to rely on him,
Right.
to make big plays for us. They're looking at him and thinking, well, if we need 4 yards, he'll go out and get us 4 yards.
Yep. Yeah.
And you just can't live in the NFL consistently with that type of a guy. They're rosterable, and you want them on your roster, but I think a guy like Hampton can take that lead role here. I'm hoping it's sooner rather than later, especially with my running back group being what it is.
Yeah. Part of me feels like Najee will turn into that 2nd and 2. Okay, let's just let's just put our jumbo package in and just get the first down, or like the 3rd and 9. Okay, we'll put Najee in for third down, and he's basically an offensive lineman for us, and he's just going to get blown up by the blitzer. And Hampton's the one that's like 1st and 10, 2nd and 10. Like, can we make something happen here? But it's one of those things we can go ahead and sit here all day and talk about what's going to happen in May, but who really knows until we kind of see in the regular season and the preseason and all that stuff. But I mean, a round one running back doesn't happen very often. I feel like if it weren't for GNT, we'd be talking significantly more about Amari Hampton. But you're happy with him here at 102. This is being called the new division of death with you, Chase, and Cam in it, and Rick, who's on the up and up. Do you kind of feel like that is an accurate statement, or do you think that this won't even compare to what we saw in the past with, Brown Out and Kung Fu Pandas and the inaugurals all tucked into one? And Flynn.
I guess I don't know how to compare it directly. I think we are some ascending teams. Me and Chase for sure, and Cam just being like 3 injuries away from the toilet bowl. With how thin his roster is, but and Rick's on the up and up. But I don't think Rick is shooting for playoffs, and I don't mean that he's going to try to tank or anything like that, but I don't think that's necessarily his goal yet. But I mean, you saw it. I mean, the last 2 weeks of the season, me and Chase were just beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
We were like super high scoring.
Yeah.
It was like, we would have. I think either of us would have won the championship in the final week, because we outscored both championship teams.
Yeah.
So I think you do have some ascending teams. It's going to be very interesting to see, especially Chase, figure out those cap hits. He can cut Christian McCaffrey. That's great and all, but that's also, I mean, that's a piece that he's probably relying on. And you never know how these draft picks turn out.
Yeah, you never do. And Chase has all these draft picks to still use, and what's he going to do with those? Is use them to trade up? Rick was kind of talking about in his conversation I had with him yesterday about the fact that he was talking to somebody leading into the draft for 101, and turns out that person was Chase, who openly kind of said in the chat, "Hey, that was me. Thanks for not cramping my style." And so he's still got a lot of options with what he can do there. So that'll be interesting to see. How was the draft? I know we talked about it in the league chat, and we saw the videos that Nate was sending, which was really cool to kind of hear the history of the field that you guys were at, the high school field and all that type of stuff. But how was your time overall? Was it as good as it expected? It looked like it's something that you would do again in a heartbeat if it happened again. Were you there all 3 days? Any fun stories? Like all the things. I want to know all the things.
We just went Friday and Thursday and Friday.
Day one.
We came back Saturday morning just because I had to play Dungeons and Dragons Saturday night, and my wife didn't want me to go on all that, for 3 straight days. So, but Saturday is just a hangout and chill day, anyways. In terms of the draft. So, but Friday was fun. Got to go to Crowell's West, which is like it's right by the field. And that was fun because that's like a mainstay that people that have been to Lambeau a bunch say that you got to eat there because they're really good. And they were good. So if anybody goes to a game in Lambeau, go to Crowell's West right there. It was a lot of fun. We didn't get down into the stage day one, but we were able to be in the bowl of Lambeau, which was cool for me because I live 4.5 hours away and I teach. And I coach football especially. So Mondays are our JV games, and I'm the head JV coach. So it's really difficult for me to go to Green Bay, watch a football game, and then come back home. So I just have never really had the opportunity to. Me and my wife are going to try to in November this year or late October when football's done for us. But it was really cool to sit in the bowl and see that. It was really cool because the only NFL game I've been to is Vikings Packers game that the Packers lost at US Bank, and
Right.
being surrounded by
This
Vikings
last
fans
season,
sucked.
right? Yeah.
Yep, yep.
They're miserable,
Uh,
man. Vikings fans are miserable.
yeah, they're not great. As I say, as my wife is in the bedroom over there, probably gonna yell at me for
Just don't
saying
talk
that
too
later.
loud. Yeah, it's okay. I'll let her watch the
um,
video.
but no, it was a lot of fun uh, going to US Bank, but being surrounded by Packers fans was really cool. And all the heckling of the Bears fans after they picked Loveland was funny, because I think Cole Kmet's a good tight end, and I think, man, you could have really solidified your line. You could have done something to help out Caleb Williams a little bit more to protect him. I know they've done a lot, but what, you have 5 good linemen now? You need 7 or 8 to get through an NFL season. You need
Agreed.
7 or 8 guys you can trust. So I thought going O-line would be smarter. But it was funny because I was taking a piss in the bathroom, and there's like 200 people in this bathroom, and we're all making fun of the like 10 Bears fans that are in the bathroom. And one of them shoots back, "We're gonna run so many 2 tight end sets against you guys," and I'm like, "That's not the flex you think it is."
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. So, um, no, that was fun. Um, Friday we were able to get to the stage, and well, not quite to the stage, but it was
Awfully
really
close, yeah.
it was a really cool environment to see that, to see the people on the stage, and you're watching it, and seeing it completely live is really cool.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you guys had a good time. I appreciate you guys taking us on the journey with the pictures and videos and all that stuff too. It was cool. You want to talk about our big thing? It's not as big as I made it sound like it was for those of you playing along at home, but Morgan and I cooked up a trade that we decided we're going to announce on the stream here. Morgan's sending me Jaden Daniels with a condition that if he doesn't make the playoffs, no, I'm just kidding. Pretty simple here. Isaiah Pacheco and 211 heading over to Morgan for 206 this year and a 2026 second next year, which is my 2026 second. So nice and simple, but you talk about adding running backs to your running back room. You can pummel people, I feel like, because with how high injury running backs can be or how often they can be injured, if you end up with these 5 running back rooms that are good, these 5 running backs that are good, that might beat, people that have 2 running backs and one of them's out. If CMC does this thing again, or if Saquon gets an injury, or one of these other top dogs goes down, that can cripple somebody, where you can just pummel people with mediocrity in a sense and kind of take it home with your quarterback room with Baker and Jaden and all that stuff too. So that's my perspective on why your side's good, and I'm happy I'm getting my early 26 probably pick back, and I move up a couple spots and offload a running back who runs like he's fighting for his job on a day-to-day basis, who won't be around probably by the time that my team does anything at all. So I'm really happy for both of us. What were your thoughts on this thing? Obviously, you think positively because you accepted, and I sent you like 6 different packages of like, which one of these works, and we kind of pretty quickly agreed this was the one. What were your thoughts overall?
I'm glad there wasn't a first round pick. I'm just really happy to avoid staying out of the first round with stuff. Um, but what this does for me is this allows me at the 104 to pick the best player available and not have a reach situation and anything like that. If I were to trade up to get anything in the first round, I don't need to feel like, oh, I need to go for Travion Henderson or something like that. Not that he's in play at 104, but this really allows me to, for the rest of my draft, not have to sit there and be like, man, I need another running back.
I need blank. Yeah.
So now I can sit there and say, you know what, I'm taking the player I like the most here, where the value fits, and I don't have to reach, which is the nice part, right? Because I've got, hopefully, with Hampton and Pacheco and Aaron Jones, and then his handcuff and Jordan Mason, I've got Brian Robinson too, who I don't know if
they didn't really draft anybody. I don't think. Yeah, nothing notable, right? I kept seeing that like everywhere, and I was like, I don't really know if they're going to do that, and they didn't. I mean, they've still got Eckler there, but who knows? That guy's like 80 years old, I think, at this point. So you've got plenty of options. Obviously, you don't want to spoil this for yourself. But we were talking a little bit before we pushed record, but we don't know how Vivian is going to draft because we're not in leagues with him except for the one that I'm in. But I'm not checked out in that league, but I didn't pay attention last year, so we don't know. It's not like I don't know. We know Cam loves his wide receivers, right? Like we know that Cam is going to do whatever he can do to get his top guys. We know that I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get Mahomes. We know that Code is going to sign 18 backup quarterbacks. Like we kind of have some tendencies that we're all just aware of. We don't know what's going to happen with Vasquez in terms of what he's going to do. Do you have anybody in particular you're targeting at 104? Have you not even thought ahead to that yet? Are you hoping someone falls? Again, we talked a little bit. We talked about a player in particular, and I'm not going to say anything because that'd be messed up. But what is your? How much are you willing to reveal about your dream 104 scenario?
I've got realistically 3 guys I would take at 104, which is just where I want to be.
Yeah,
I hate it when I've got 4 picks until mine and I only have 3 guys I want.
yeah, and you're like,
You know,
please
'cause
don't,
then
please
you're
let
really,
someone slip. Yeah,
yeah. So I like that I have 2 to 3 guys that I'm comfortable with that I'll be really happy with if they fall to 4, because then I know that I'm guaranteed to get one of those. It was like that the first draft we had where Jordan Addison fell to me and I kind of maneuvered and I was like, well, there's 3 guys I'd be happy with, so I'm fine dropping. I think I dropped 2 spaces and then I think I dropped another space because I still had, when it got to me, there were still 2 guys. So I was like, I'm fine dropping another space.
yeah,
So I ended up getting Jordan Addison, who was one of the 2 people I was happy with getting.
yeah. Keep
Um,
moving back. Add whatever it is. Stay in the tier. Stay in whatever your tier is. But if you're happy with 2 and you're up, ooh, yeah, take what you can get.
yeah, so I imagine I'll stay put at 104. I'll just pick which one I want. But I am interested to see what Victoria picks.
Yeah,
Um, you got to think that that roster is not great, um, and you never know. I mean, and I guess it depends on how he views the Titans in a lot of ways. Not just Cam Ward. Does he think the Titans are just where quarterbacks go to die? Because if that's the case, I mean, he's got literally, oh my God, he's got 2 quarterbacks on his roster, and one of them is Kirk Cousins. So, I mean, he's probably
the
a
Kirk Cousins, the
quarterback at
Browns starting
103, right?
quarterback. Kirk Cousins, the Browns starting
Uh,
quarterback.
ooh,
Uh,
he could be. He could be. They should just add a lot of competition to that room.
they need
I
to
think
do
it should be like the year
a
that
lot
the
of things.
Bears had 14 tight ends, but with quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, but I mean, he's also got, I mean, he's got good receivers, but there's not much depth there. So, do you go Tet, Igbuka maybe? Do you go Travis Hunter?
yeah,
And you just say, you know what, my quarterback situation's going to suck, but I'm going to get a wide receiver who I think is going to be good for 6 years rather than the like 33-66 shot at Cam Ward. I guess I don't know. That's
yeah.
a equation he's got to figure out. That I guess we'll
We'll
maybe
see.
learn about tomorrow.
But yeah, hopefully. And you kind of said, and I want to wrap this up because I like to keep these things short and sweet for draft time. But you and I'll talk for hours and hours if we could. It sounds like, and the last thing I'll say before we, any final thoughts on that, but it almost sounds like you said you'd be happy with 3 different guys here. And we talked again. I don't want to spoil anything by any means, but we talked about someone who seems like they're going in this area, and you were like, I don't know about this person. So really, there's a lot of opportunity maybe for Chase at 5 to move up, or Flynn at 7, or Nate at 6. Have you talked with any of those teams? Have there been any trade talks about 104? Are you open to entertaining those talks for 104 from one of those guys? Rick's at 8. I'm at 9. Like, have you thought about that at all, or are you not even? We'll see what
I
happens
would.
from now here, really.
I think about it. The issue is to move up from 106 to 104. I gave up 208. So if I'm going to move back, you're going to have to beat out that offer with a little
Mm.
bit extra. So it's gonna. I think it'll be tough for teams to match my asking price, and that's not me trying to be, an asshole or
No,
anything. But that's just me
that's just
looking
what it
at
is.
return on investment.
Yep.
Um, but yes, I'm not interested in Travis Hunter. He is not one of the
Oh,
three.
you're just gonna go say,
Um,
okay, yeah. So
I think I don't know that he's a bust. I think the problem is there's not enough time in the day for you to become perfect at either position.
right.
And I think even if it's 90-10, I'm thinking if you have to play exponentially more snaps at the age of what? He's 21, 22, something like that,
Yep.
right? He's not fully, like, completely developed physically. Um, he's getting there, but you're dealing with guys that are in their athletic prime, and he won't be in it for another 2 years or so. What are the chances he gets hurt because he has to play 20 more snaps than anybody else on the team?
Yep.
And when you get tired, you get hurt in the NFL, or well, in football, just in general. It happens when we have two-way players at high school.
Yeah. You
When we
slow
got
down,
a
you get
kid who
hurt.
never gets a break, they get fucking hurt. So I'm scared of that. And then what happens if he's struggling at receiver for 3 games, but he's balling out at corner and they just switch him?
Say, yeah, we're done with this. Yeah.
We'd rather have an elite corner than a mediocre receiver who's just wasting his legs and giving us good corner because he's tired out there.
Yep.
You know,
I
um,
think obviously he's a very fun conversation topic with all of the things that brings and he is. But there's not a clear answer, and so I think that becomes the fun conversation of when is it worth it to pick him, and we talked about that, but we won't talk about our specifics because um, there's a chance. I mean, we both have first round picks, so I don't want to tip. I don't want to tip your hat if you plan on moving or if I plan on moving or anything like that. But you and I feel very similarly on when it might start to make sense. Um, it's almost like the Shador Sanders and the NFL draft thing. At what point is it silly to not take him because his talent should beat the mess out of any other talent you get in the fourth round, the fifth round, the sixth round? Um, but you can't fix some of those other issues there, and that's kind of why he fell the way he did. So that'll end it for us because we're going to be talking again very soon, probably. Any final thoughts that you have, or anything you want to talk about before we go ahead and flush this toilet?
expect to win my division this year. That's the plan. I'm looking to win it. And we'll see if that statement bites me in the ass.
That's the third time you've said that in 3 years. Checks watch. But I think this is definitely the most put together team you've had, especially with 102 and 104, and hopefully some other pieces to come. And don't let me forget. I want to touch on this on our next thing because I've already complained that we're going too long, and now I'm continuing to take it too long. I think you have very sneakily managed your cap well. And I feel like we give Cam a lot of credit for a lot of that, which I think, excuse me, not Cam, Rick for the way he's done it, Cam for kind of bending the rules to do it. But I think you've done it incredibly organically. 35 players on your roster this year, not including this pick, $123 in cap space. Next year, 23 players in your roster, $362 in cap space. So I think that I want to dig into that more next time just because I feel like you don't get enough credit there. So yeah, we'll talk about that more next. That'll do it for us. Amari and Hampton, the pick at number 2 here. Morgan, good talking to you. Good seeing you. I'm sure Rick is very happy
Seeing
and
you.
money well spent. And we'll talk to you very soon, I'm sure.
I expect Rick to note the camera. 2 comments, one angry, one happy about the camera.
Perfect. I expect it as well. We'll work on lighting in the next one. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon.